Oh, right, of course, because I should know who that is.
I don't care what you think. I'll tell you something that rubbed me right.
Felger and Maz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Milwaukee has a choice. Do they take the bigger package with all of the assets, or do they take the package with the star player? They twisted and turned on this, obviously, for days, if not longer. You can tell that this was a hard decision to make, different opinions in different parts of the organization. Ultimately, I believe they felt if they traded for Jaylen Brown, they would have a similar situation, a star player without a good enough team to put around him.
That and, Brian Windhorst, if they flipped Jaylen Brown, they wouldn't get the draft pick haul that they just got from Miami. I mean, that's just common sense. What do you think they've been doing? And why do you think no third team is involved? Because if the Bucks could flip Jaylen Brown for the unprotected picks they just got from Miami, they would have taken that trade. Or gotten better than.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they couldn't because apparently Jaylen Brown isn't worth that. He's not deemed to have that value around the league.
Because we here overrate him.
And so now you are going to try and flip him. And the league just sort of told you you're not going to get a superstar return for him because he's not deemed a superstar value with that contract, I guess. So that, to me, is just sort of the underlying calculus of what happened in the last 24 hours.
It's a good way to look at it because, look, I think at the end of the day, to me, the star players in that league command attention. And that, I'm talking about on the floor. So that's what distinguishes them from the other players. You can't go by the numbers. The numbers in that league are as phony as anything. I mean, Anthony Simons averages 20 points a game. So the actual numbers mean zero. It's about whether the opposition looks at you and says, do we have to double team that guy and get the ball out of his hands? Can he get his own shot? It's all that stuff. That's the stuff that they're making the decisions on. And the league doesn't look at Jaylen Brown as the kind of guy they have to double team.
So where are you guys at now? Do you want status quo, he stays, or do you want to see him get flipped between now and the start of the season?
Again, you're asking me if I were a Celtics fan, if I were the Celtics, I'd keep him.
Yeah.
Yep.
At this stage, yeah. But I think they're going to move him.
I wouldn't have traded him for the first thing. I wouldn't have traded him for Giannis in the first place. So I wouldn't trade him for, again, whoever the hell Trey Murphy is. And I'm just saying that intentionally, even though
you've heard the name, but
I've now learned who he is. But I'd say that intentionally. I'm not doing that. I liked, you want to futz around and give me a different package. I liked the Jake Seymour Houston Rockets proposal. I like Amon Thompson. Amon Thompson?
Yeah.
And Şengün, I would do that. If there's another grouping you can give me, give me the specific. But I'm not doing it for that Pelicans kid.
No, I get it. And no matter who it is. But the problem is, you see, they can make it work on the floor, but Tatum has said nothing. Jaylen Brown gets more and more outspoken. I just think I worry about diminishing trade value if they're saying, all right, we're running it back. This didn't work. You've now kind of burned a bridge yet again, putting his name out there in yet another trade that didn't go down. I don't think it's going to work. So it's maybe not the best comp, but there's like a Jaren Duran thing here. A lot of talent, kind of a pain in the ass. I would try to move on now because I just think the value is going to continue to diminish if you try to run this back. He gets more outspoken. Tatum's more passive-aggressive. I just don't think this is going to get better, is my point. Now that this is falling apart, you still have to find a way to move Jaylen Brown, in my opinion.
Basketball-wise, the best thing to do would be to keep him because you're not getting equal value back.
I would say even if Tatum doesn't like it, I'd keep him. Even all the more reason. You're not the GM, Jason. Love you, mean it. We've given you the coach. You want to keep Derek White? We'll keep Derek White for you. You don't get to determine what we do with Jaylen Brown. You're going to have to just coexist as you've done. You'll figure it out. You're fine. Honestly, I'd force it. I'd make him come back. And
how many GMs have told that to their superstar players in the NBA?
I know. I
doubt that's happened.
I wouldn't put it in those terms.
Yeah.
I'd have someone else other than me deliver the message. But that's what I would do. What I would really do is change the coach. But apparently, which is insane to me. You're going to move on from your second best player, but keep the coach who've just driven you into the ground the last couple of years. I just think that's ridiculous.
I'm rapidly coming to the conclusion that we are going to get three-pointers coming out our ass next year. You think it's been a lot of threes the last couple of years? I think it's going to be worse.
Fred in Medfield. Hi, Fred.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say Celtics fans are delusional. They overrate Jaylen Brown, and obviously the rest of the league does not see him the same way they do.
Agreed.
The guy, he's a decent player. He's a good little player. Maybe he's top 20, but, I mean, callers today, he's a top 5 player. Top 5? You got Wembanyama, you got SGA, you got Jokic, you got Doncic, maybe even like Jalen Brunson. Like, those guys would have all gotten the trade done. The league does not look at Jaylen Brown like a superstar.
I don't think Brunson would.
No, Brunson wouldn't get the deal done either.
Maybe not, but I mean, Jaylen Brown is definitely, he wasn't enough to get it done. And Celtics fans are delusional, thinking he's a top 5, top 10 player. He's make way too much money. He's got frying pan hands, and they're not going to get anything good for him.
Okay, so you've overstated it. He is a top 10 player. He's a second-team All-NBA. That's top 10 by definition.
With some injuries this year, but yeah. I mean, to guys who would normally be in the top 10.
Okay, so I think he is a top 10 to 15 player.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
I think that's what he is. I think he can lead a team. I think he would be a number 1. I'd take him on the Bucks. I would have. I think it's what he is in conjunction with the contract. Okay, so he's like something like the 6th highest paid guy in the league. So it was just 2 years ago he was the highest paid player in the history of the league. So he's got one of these super max deals. He's also contract eligible and may just want that picked up right now. And so I think what that is what's his value given what he is as a player and what it costs. And in which case,
like Kirk Cousins,
I think what you're getting there is not much interest because he's not worth the contract.
Because it doesn't match.
And the NBA is so cost conscious now, as such a underlying factor here, that I think that's what I think it's not just him in a vacuum as a player, it's what you have to pay him. And I think that's what's killed his value, which you may be finding out here right now.
No, it's definitely part of it. I mean, like, remember Mike Conley? I mean, he's still in the league, I think. That guy got a whopper of a contract, and he was never that kind of player, and he just kind of dried up.
Okay, here's line. Do I want to do this, man? Let's look at line 3.
Oh, God, help us.
Dakota, I have inside info on Tatum.
No, here we go. Of course he does. I mean, what other kind of info is there with Dakota?
Hang on, Mark tape.
It's all inside info. Oh, what's his pie?
Go ahead, Dakota. What's his pie?
Tatum's pie? No, he's middle of the road. Anyways, before I get to the inside info on Tatum.
No, I want the inside info first.
No.
Listen, no. I'm putting you on hold. I will not listen to your first take if you, unless you give me the inside info first. I'm not going to allow you to be on the show. So go ahead.
Do you concur, Felger?
No, Maz is running the plane here. Sorry.
All right, fine.
I stand with Maz.
So my sources inside the Boston Celtics did not want Tatum to come back as quickly as he did. And once he had any issues with the potential leg or any of the legs, they shut him down. So Tatum, for what it was worth, came back against the Celtics' doctors' wishes too early this season. Now, maybe that was part of the whole Brown end of the season thing with all the comments, and how it messed up chemistry. But that was it. Celtics did not want him to come back, and that's why he did not play in Game 7 because they made a deal with Tatum. Any potential bothersome in the leg, you're out.
All right, that has the ring of truth, whether it's true or not.
I believe that, Dakota.
Me too, actually. So, but how is that relevant to the last 24 hours?
Well, it's not really relevant, but it's information that I got. So what do you want me to do? To tell you next year? And you're going to be like, well, why didn't you tell me last year?
But what's the diff?
Next year would have been good.
But what's the diff?
I could have waited until 28.
What does that have to do with Jaylen Brown?
I could have waited until 30.
What does that have to do with the last 24 hours?
Nothing.
It's like a sidebar story. Oh, no. I know something.
No, Dakota just wants to stroke himself on the air.
Yep, there was a little stroking, Boston. You just got to witness Dakota pleasuring himself that he might have some inside information.
And we never got the other point.
Do we need the other point?
I love the fact that he backed down.
He did try and jump you, though.
Yeah.
He tried to go over your head by saying, Felger, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
No, so that's not the way that works, Dakota.
Thank you for the support.
Maz is running the plane here. Sorry.
All right, fine.
I stand with Maz. Ian in the car. Go ahead, Ian.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. For once, I agree with all three of you, and it doesn't happen often, but the trade was complete garbage. The young assets, who cares about the players? The young assets built for the future. With Jaylen Brown on that team, even with being on the Bucks, they wouldn't have gone anywhere. They wouldn't have done anything. So having young players, building for the future, the way to go. So the kudos should go to Pat Riley for having the cojones to say, you know what, I'm going all in right now with Bam Adebayo and Giannis. And I'll throw some pieces around that and play for the the here and the now.
I guess.
But my question to you guys is, do you think there was a little bit of history between when it came down to Miami, specifically Pat Riley and the Celtics, knowing that history is there? Do you think that may have swayed the trade?
No. I mean, if Danny Ainge were still here, and by extension, Wick was still here, maybe. I mean, Ainge and Riley hated each other.
Oh, yeah,
right?
they did, yeah. No question.
So, like, would they get into some sort of blood sport in a trade? Maybe. I don't know if Stevens has a hair across his ass for Pat Riley. I mean, he might a little bit, but the whole premise that they got in there to drive the price up on Miami is just so stupid. Whether they did or not, like, who cares?
It's what you got to tell yourself to convince yourself everything's fine with
exactly right, Murray.
I mean, like, good grief. I'd worry about getting past the Sixers and the Sixers, who suck. Why are you worried about the Heat? Even with Giannis, I don't take the Heat all that seriously. I got to be honest. If I were you're still the favorite in the East. And if I'd have to say, who would be the team I'd worry about the most after you is Detroit. And never mind the Knicks. Never mind Cleveland. Never mind those kind of teams. Why you so you're worried about Pat Riley having to dig a little deeper in his pocket for an extra draft pick? I mean, that's kind of stupid if that's why you're doing this.
So, look, you know why Riley was willing to give up the draft picks? Because he gets it. That's why. Because in that league, you need centerpiece players. So now, I agree there's holes in my Miami roster. Like, just the two of those guys aren't going to be enough. But I don't know what Riley has up his sleeve. Let me see how the rest of the offseason goes. Maybe he pulls some other good player out of his ass that I have no idea is going to end up in Miami, and all of a sudden the whole thing changes. But I know this. If Riley were running the Celtics, they'd probably have Giannis right now. That's how I feel.
I doubt that Riley would let Hugo Gonzalez get in the way of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to let freaking Shireman and Ugo get in the way? No way.
Back with more right after these words. I want to get to the gossip first.
Everything you said is right.
Felger and Maz, the Sports Hub.
First, let me say this. I think why the Celtics were willing to move on from Jaylen, we know they're a heavy analytics team. Obviously, Mazzulla, Brad Stevens. And I voted Jaylen Brown first team All-NBA. All right? I think he was fifth on my MVP ballot. So I think he had a phenomenal year.
But he is not an analytical darling.
No. and these numbers are stunning, and people have recited them throughout the year. But in the regular season, the Celtics with Jaylen Brown on the court were a plus 6.5 points. And when he was off the court, they were plus 10.5. All right? In the playoffs, with him on the court, they were minus 4.9, so minus 5 points against their opposition. With him off the court, they were plus 23.9. So, again, I think these numbers don't tell the story, but people that really put everything in the analytics do, and I think that played a large role in them offering Jaylen, who I think we all agree is not as good as Jason Tatum.
Chris Broussard, FS1, or Celtics just running the numbers with Brown? That's why he's out?
Wouldn't rule that out either.
Me neither, my friend. Dave in the car, your thoughts. What do you got, Dave?
I just want to know, are we going to do status quo then next year if we don't trade Brown? Because that ain't going to work anymore. And what are we going to ship him off to Portland for half their team or something and a bunch of scrubs? This team needs to change so badly. I'm so mad we didn't get Giannis.
Status is quo. I mean, especially if it's that Pelicans deal.
Yeah.
It's just another big wing who can shoot. Well, what are they going to do with him? Post him up? No. It's the same coach. I mean, I would have been fine bringing back the same roster with a different coach. You'd contend. I don't think you're the best team in the league. No, the teams out west I think are better. But I think you'd have a reasonable chance to get through the East if you didn't play like a bunch of idiots. But instead, you're going to trade your second best player, I guess, for more wings. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you tell me what they're going to do that changes even if, which I don't think they're going to do because Derek White is Jason Tatum's guy. But the rumor the thing you hear about the Wolves in on Derek White and offering Rudy Gobert changes you defensively. Mm-hmm. I mean, that for sure. That's not really the problem. The problem is their offensive play style.
Correct.
What does Gobert do with that?
He doesn't. I mean, again, the guy's useless offensively, if you ask me. Completely useless. And I would prefer, if they're going to go to get size to be better around the rim on the offensive end as well as the defensive end, then to me, Rudy Gobert is useless.
Stu, you got anything back there?
I was wondering, since Anthony Edwards is apparently annoyed at Minnesota right now, is there a Jaylen Brown and Derek White for Anthony Edwards and something else from Naz Reid? Would that be a deal that's interesting?
Yes.
I'd be into that.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Yeah, I love Anthony Edwards.
I know you do.
I love Anthony Edwards.
I like Jaylen Brown better than Anthony Edwards. But it's close, and I might be in the minority there. Certainly, Anthony Edwards gets much more, much more deference. I don't like Anthony Edwards' size. He's, you don't realize it because he's so physical and aggressive. He's under 6'4", right?
I think he is 6'4". Yeah, I think he is 6'4".
I don't like giving up that size. I don't.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I prefer the biggest players possible. But I would do that.
Okay.
Just to shake it up.
I would do that over the freaking Pelican.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep going back to the Trey Murphy Pelican. Like, I just can't tell you how, and maybe I'm just talking as a talk show host now. No one gives half a crap about whoever Trey Murphy is. And I say that for a fact because I know the basketball people know him and he's a decent player. I got it. I'm talking as a talk show host who has a business to run. Trey Murphy.
Bad for business.
He is.
Does not move the needle.
No one cares.
Even the name is boring.
No one cares.
Murphy.
And the vast majority of casual fans, which is what NBA fans are, the vast majority barely know who he is. Never mind care about him. So, but that's just as the talk show host. From a basketball standpoint, what I do know about him is he doesn't really change how you operate.
Threes away.
And I thought that was the whole point.
Yep, bombing from the outside. Now, punch up on Paul and Fairhaven because this might be their solution. By the way,
Paul and Fairhaven, you're next. Paul and Fairhaven, wake up.
Paul, are you there?
He might be napping. His comment line says, "Bring back Porzingis."
Okay, but this has been out there really all off season. Porzingis and Robert Williams, they're both available. And you know what? If the Celtics want to get size, at both ends of the floor, and I keep saying that because they don't just want a defensive rim protector. They also want a guy that can contribute offensively at the other end of the floor. And Porzingis is one of the few guys in the league that can do it. That is in play for these guys. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's not. They might actually do that.
Now, is that for, like theoretical? Because they basically never play at this point. What did Porzingis play last year combined with Atlanta and Golden State? Like 40 games, and I got to look
something like that.
I got to look up the Time Lord.
Oh, please don't.
Oh, he was less, Murray.
Porzingis 17 and 15 with Atlanta and Golden State last year.
And how about that? Wow, I'm surprised. Robert Williams actually played 59 games last year.
Wow.
Color me shocked.
So this is what you can expect. These kind of moves on the fringes.
Yep.
Great.
Yep, that's what you're going to get. Stuff like that. That's what's going to happen.
At least Porzingis and Jaylen Brown get along, so Jaylen Brown has at least a friend
right. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
It'll keep Porzingis. It'll keep Jaylen Brown happy.
It's true.
Right. I meant to bring that up.
Cookies and cream.
Brad in West Virginia. Go ahead, Brad.
Naz Reid.
I was wondering, do you think there's any chance that they make a deal with the Clippers for Kawhi? I feel like the plan A was to try to do the Brad Stevens attack the basket, but now that that's gone, do you think that they might try to get some more Missoula ball going and get Kawhi in for Brown?
So what is Kawhi's not really a 3-point player, is he?
He's gotten better at it.
I'm sure he shoots them. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's outrageous. I'll see how many attempts. But
he's one of those guys that I think is kind of a classic mid-range player.
Huge.
Is he even going to play? The league is looking at him for the salary cap circumvention thing.
Yeah.
For his fake company or whatever the hell it was.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was great.
Wait a minute. You think being paid $25 million to endorse someone who plants trees is overpayment? I thought that was on the up.
It's a good deal.
I thought the $25 million endorsement of a landscaping company, I thought was a going rate.
I mean, if you can get $25 million for trees, I want to know what you can get for a snowblower.
But I think Jaylen Brown's a younger, I don't know if better, but a younger, similar version to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
I think
similar kind of player. I think Leonard at his peak was better.
The thing there is the 5th overall pick. I mean, would the Clippers give you the 5th overall pick for Brown and keep Kawhi Leonard? And in which case, if they would, then I think the Bucks would have taken Jaylen Brown and done that themselves. That's just what I'm stuck on. If Jaylen Brown was worth a good return, as Brian Windhorst said, this bidding war for Jaylen Brown, if that's happening, the Bucks, I think, would have taken him and conducted the bidding war themselves. But I think whatever Jaylen Brown is getting out there was less than what the Bucks took from Miami. Otherwise, they would have taken Jaylen Brown. Like, that's just I don't know how else to look at that.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
So I think you're going to be underwhelmed by what you get back from Jaylen Brown, as the Bucks were. Otherwise, Jaylen Brown would be a Buck. 617-779-0985. Here's the very latest from Big Jim Ray, and then we're back with more of your reaction. Don't go anywhere.
Now, more of Felger and Maz. Now, on the Sports Hub.
It's the first loss all year for this team when leading after 7. Just in the immediate aftermath, how do you make sense of what happened in the ninth?
They just took good at bats. I mean, there's not much else to it. Like you said, it doesn't happen to us often. By not often, it hasn't happened all year. Those guys are tremendous at the back end, and give credit where credit's due. They put some good at bats in the 8th off Witt, and they put some good at bats off Chappie.
Was there some miscommunication there on the bump play with Monasterio having to cover first?
No, he was there. He's just, it's maybe a touch late. I think Durb, pumped just to make sure that he got there, and that was just a half second. They needed to beat that. He swung on the first pitch, so maybe a little hesitation. Was he going to bunt it or not? But obviously that's a big one. We get the out there and got a shot. But again, you got to give some credit on the other side, too.
But how fast it happened, how much of a whirlwind did that feel like in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it was quick. They were aggressive, looked like being aggressive off Witt and Chappie, swinging early in the count, and looked like trying to use the offside of the field. So, again, there's not much to say. Just sometimes you got to tip your cap, and they took some good at bats.
There's a sprinkling on a couple Red Sox thoughts off of just another horrific, ghastly loss last night. This time to the worst team in the league, but not you, Colorado, but neck and neck for that distinction. That's Chad Tracy postgame. What stood out to you there, Miz?
Okay, so how many times is he going to say they took good at bats? Really? So let me get this straight. In that rally, the Red Sox failed to retire a guy on a sacrifice bunt, and the left fielder was running around looking for the ball on the final play like he was blindfolded. Had no idea where the freaking ball bounced to, played the angle wrong. It got by him, and then was again, I told you, he looked like Rocky chasing the chicken in the chicken coop when Mickey was trying to teach him footwork. Okay, that's what it was. So those two plays aren't worth talking about if you're the manager of the Red Sox?
No, Colorado just had some good at-bats, man.
So it was just purely about the Red Sox had no control over that outcome in Colorado. And look, I got nothing against Chad Tracy. I don't know the guy from a hole in the wall. He was obviously thrown into, or Stephen A. would have said, a can of paint. I don't know the guy from a can of paint. But the fact of the matter is they threw him into a tough spot. Even so, if that's what it's going to be, not saying that we botched a bunt play and, we mishandled the ball in the corner, you're not even going to acknowledge that, you're not the right guy for the job. So, again, seems like a nice guy and what have you, but as far as I'm concerned, that's interim manager speak. That is let me say nothing and just compliment the other side. When we effed up a bunt play and our left fielder took a bad angle on a ball and then scrambled around trying to pick it up while people were running around the bases. You lose because you suck. You lose this much because you suck. So I just don't want to hear that the Colorado Rockies put on a clinic and hitting the ball to the opposite field to beat your ass. You also beat yourself.
Back to your phones. Here's Mary, who is disappointed that the Celtics did not land her countryman. Go ahead, Mary.
it's true, Mike. I mean, I was a little bit concerned initially because I do think he's an injury risk, but I am partial to Giannis. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get him. I think it would have been fun to have him here. And one of the things I wanted to see was to see how Tatum responded to him and played off him, because I think Giannis is more aggressive. And I think whoever they identify now to bring in, they have to have a little bit of attitude, because I think Jason Tatum is just too soft for me.
It's a fair point, Mary. They need someone who's just a little harder-nosed. I agree with that part of it. And that's why I think Jaylen Brown, in that respect, was a good compliment for Tatum. But as I said off the top, from a show standpoint, this was really disappointing news.
Oh, horrible news.
This would have been not just a great news day, big blockbuster trade. And again, this is just from the talk show. I don't think Giannis would have helped your team more than Jaylen Brown. From a pure basketball sense, I think you're better off with Jaylen Brown over Giannis. But from a show standpoint, that's a sexy-ass trade, and the team would have been box office this year.
Oh, unquestionably, especially if they were to open with the champion Knicks, to open the NBA season. Now you have Giannis. That'd be fun.
You've got, and again, this is you speaking, not me, because I don't use nicknames, but the Greek Freak and Tatum. That's just kind of cool. It would have been worth following every single day. Would have drawn huge interest, huge numbers, and I would have been, from a talk show standpoint, all in on the thing, and we lost out on that. So I'm, from a show standpoint, disappointed in this. And subsequently, as a Bucks fan, I would have loved to have seen Jaylen Brown in Milwaukee nip at your heels and see him have a burr across his ass to try and prove something against you, and maybe bring the Bucks back up to the pack and make things interesting. I was looking forward to that angle with it too. I would have rooted for him in Milwaukee. And so I was looking forward to the whole thing, even if it wasn't the best thing for the Celtics. I was rooting for it. And I'm disappointed we didn't get it. I was really disappointed. I went to bed at 11:50 last night. And when I woke up this morning, I saw the dateline of the breaking news, 11:55. I was like, thank God.
You wouldn't have slept last night.
Because I would have stayed up. And but I was pissed when I woke up this morning. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Here's Jim in Jersey. Yes, Jim in Jersey.
Hey, what's up, guys? Now, with all the moves that they obviously missed out on with this Giannis deal, what do you think they do with the center spot? Do they look at Sabonis? Do they look? I heard you guys say Porzingis. I heard you say the Time Lord. What about other players around the league at center?
You need to ask an NBA file more than me, but I feel here. Listen. What's the contract? What are the numbers?
It's a big factor.
The underlying thing in so many of these deals is the finances. The Celtics worked hard to get under that luxury tax last year. They're still a repeater-paying team. They need to be under that tax one more year in the next 3 to get out of the repeater penalties. If they had landed Giannis, that's really kind of go-for-it move. You know what I mean, Maz? And
sure, of course.
I think they would have been compelled to go back into the tax this year. Now that there's no Giannis, do they take the opportunity to say, okay, well, we took a swing. Not a very good one, by the way. But they took a swing. We didn't land him. Now we are going to take this opportunity to get under the tax. So
they might do that.
So in which case, name a center and then tell me what he'd cost, and then I'll tell you whether he's viable or not. It's the only reason Vucevic was here in the first place. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So the problem is when you start getting into second-rate centers, they usually can do only one of the two things you need. You don't
Vucevic, yes.
Right. You don't get both. You get either a suck defensive player or a guy who is useless at the offensive end of the floor. You get a Gobert or you get a Robert Williams, which is why I think they might be lured back into Porzingis if they, because he can make a contribution at both ends of the floor.
He's a better rim protector than I gave him credit for.
Yeah, he alters shots at the very least, right? Even if he's not a true shot blocker. But something like that. So I heard, first of all, 2 quick things. One, who has a glut of, I'll call them useless big men, in other words, who can't play both ends of the floor?
Not the Knicks.
Utah.
Okay.
So like Lauri Markkanen, who's like 6'10", 6'11", can shoot. Apparently Stevens used to like him. No, I don't know if he still does.
You want to do business with Danny?
Not particularly, but it would be that kind of team that's got 3 guys. Maybe they may make a deal. They have another kid who's kind of a stiff, but so something like that. Or I heard someone mention today that, Paolo Banchero.
Dan in South Carolina, your thought on that?
Yes, hi guys. Thanks for taking me. Thank God we didn't get that decrepit old guy from Milwaukee. But the money works if they go after Paolo Banchero.
Okay, how big is he?
6'10".
So I was going to say,
he's 6'10".
Is he truly a big?
Not only that, he's a lot younger, and also they're at on the cusp of going over the threshold because they not only have Suggs, but they also have Anthony Black, who they're going to have to pay.
Okay, it's a little too much Magic talk, but
he's more of a power forward than a center.
I like his game.
Yeah, he's physical. He's more of a 2-point player, not as just a bomber from 3-point distance.
And they're moving on from him because of
I don't know. I guess
they are.
I don't know. So I don't know that Jaylen Brown would be all that appealing to him. I'm sure he makes a hell of a lot more than Banchero does at this point.
Right. So he's 6'10".
He is,
but he plays like a wing, doesn't he? Does he?
He's more. I don't know. I don't think he takes a ton of threes.
So
he can stretch the floor. He's a threat to hit a 3-pointer.
I'm not saying he's a 3-point player, but he's. I don't feel like he plays down low, does he?
No, but he plays closer to the basket.
I would call him I would call him Giannis light.
So he's tough.
I like him.
He's tough and physical, and I'd do that.
Me too.
Would I do it for Jaylen Brown?
I don't know.
I'd
love to add him.
Close. We could talk about that. Long commercial-free segment, over 20 minutes commercial-free. Great time to jump aboard. Give us a call and stick around, most importantly, right after this. Go back to the phones for the 5 o'clock hour, Maz, unless you have a fresh thought for us.
God, no.
Felger and Maz, 98.5 Sports Hub.
Why did Milwaukee end up ultimately taking the Heat's offer over the Celtics, and where does this leave JB in Boston?
Tyler, the Celtics aggressively pursued Giannis at the deadline, but even more this pre-draft cycle. They offered Jaylen Brown and I'm told 2 unprotected first-round draft picks. The Bucks wanted some kind of combination of young players such as Hugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh, or Baylor Shireman. You have draft assets, swaps as well that Milwaukee wanted, but this was where the Celtics capped out at. And so now that you don't get Giannis, and now that it is known that you were a finalist, this is what was on the table, they have offered Jaylen Brown twice in deals over the last 4 years. Back in 2022, it was a package for Kevin Durant. Now, a package for Giannis. The difference now is Jaylen Brown is a Finals MVP. He's a guy that was an MVP finalist in the league this past season. How will he handle this news? My understanding is there are going to be some hard conversations to come in Boston. There's a relationship here that's going to get managed. We're not going to know the fallout for a little bit of period of time at least.
Okay, so the hard conversation thing, I think, is taking place. Don't you?
Yeah, I think they're ahead of that.
I mean, I think they're well. I was listening to, I'll ask him tonight, but I listened to Michael Holley on NBC Sports Boston last night. He kind of reported, kind of said that from what he understands, Brown has been talking with the Celtics the last couple of days, and it's gone very well. Or what? I'm paraphrasing, something like that. That it was amicable and all of that, which I'm sure the Celtics are going to portray. Like I don't think this is going to go from bad to worse. I don't think Jaylen Brown is going to pitch a fit beyond what he's already pitched. And if they all have to come back and play together, they're all going to come back and play together. Like, I think people have completely overblown that part of it. And they've just neglected the fact that Jaylen Brown has been bitching for half a decade about the thing. We try and point it out to you every single time. You're like, I don't want to hear it. But he's been doing it at all-star breaks. Whenever he's asked about there's a long feature or there's a million different things. Press conferences, interviews, print interviews, TV interviews. He's talked often about the sacrifices he's had to make here. The people around him, Tracy McGrady, has said the problems he's had with the organization. Like, this is a thing with Brown that isn't recent. It's been going back years. He's still signed when he had a chance to sign. He still plays hard every time he gets thrown out there. If Tatum doesn't like it, well, he swallows it properly too, because he comes back as soon as he comes back and he plays, and they all just sort of deal with it. And I don't see why this would be any different. I think it's just a continuation of where it's always been.
Me too.
So,
I mean, again, so the question most people don't ask is, what are his alternatives? He's making $57 million or whatever the number is this year, somewhere around $57 million, I think. What's he going to do, not show up?
No, but he'll show up, but just really amp up being a pain in the ass. Like, you're right. He has done this and has done it throughout the season. But what if this time it was coupled with going to Brad Stevens saying, hey, look, I want my own thing. And it felt like it was going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm finally going to go get my own thing. And now it's, you got to go back to Shawshank?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he will.
Yeah.
And if I'm the Celtics, unless I get an offer that, is clearly better than him, I say tough. You weren't all that happy before, so you will just business is the status is quo on all of them. And now look, if you're telling me the return, if you think Paolo Banchero or whatever, Amon Thompson, or you want to come up with it, and
Trey Murphy.
Okay, I just don't want to hear about this Trey Murphy. I care a little bit about Amon Thompson because I've seen him play a little bit. I'm like, I think that kid's got a chance. And Banchero I've seen too. I like his tough. But whoever it is, if you're telling me you're getting better, then fine. I'll do it. I'm not trading him just because he's unhappy. He's been unhappy. So, and I'm not doing it even if Tatum starts carping. Tough. You're just going to have to continue to coexist. And they've done that relatively well till you get to the postseason.
I mean, for Jaylen Brown, if they're worried about him, dude, is what you have really that bad? I mean, you've been to the conference finals how many times?
What can I tell you?
I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Most enjoyable favorite year was a year they lose to the Sixers in the first round. Had nothing even to do with that title.
So I agree, Murray. It was a dick comment to make. Totally agree. But, as opposed to what, being buried in New Orleans?
I think he'd prefer that because it's his own thing.
I can't believe that.
And speaking of New Orleans, how about I read the latest from Sam Amick? You sent this along, Jay Stu. There's definitely a bunch of Trey Murphy noise.
Oh, God.
Seems pretty clear that he has also signaled a desire to play elsewhere. Boston, actually. Trey is seen as a potential plan B for them if they miss out on Giannis, which they obviously did. So Trey is going to have a lot of suitors, and I think that could be a draft night deal. Get ready for Trey Murphy.
Well, this is draft night.
Yep.
Why is New Orleans looking to move on from Trey Murphy?
Apparently, Trey Murphy is looking to move on from New Orleans.
Does he have a no-trade clause? Does he have
no
movement protection or movement rights?
They want to improve their defense. I think they have redundancy at wing.
Okay, isn't that, well, not that your defense is all that bad, but don't you all isn't the Celtics just 5-out wings? Isn't that what they do?
Yeah.
So they need another wing?
Yeah. So no,
I thought Steven said they need more easy baskets and more shots at the rim and all that. He did say that.
They do, but plan B is more threes. I'm not joking. I think that's plan B. I think plan B is to go get it. Now, he might be the best shooter that on the team when he gets here. Apparently, he's a very, very good shooter. High 80s at the free throw line and close to 40% from three. So, but I mean, I really do believe that if they get him, it's threes away. Like, just launch, man, launch. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get your 63s a game if that guy comes here. You think it's bad now? Wait till Trey Murphy comes to town. It's going to be a freaking three-for-all.
Well, but anyway, if that makes you better, then I do it. But I don't do it just because you, quote-unquote, have to now move on from Brown. I don't believe you have to move on from Brown. The hard conversations that are coming, I think, have already happened. No one's going to raise a stink. It's all happy in Greenland. And the most you're going to get out of Jaylen Brown is what you've already gotten to this point, which is sometimes passive-aggressive, but just an undercurrent of him being disrespected, aggrieved, and that. And that's what you continue to get from Jaylen Brown, what you've always gotten from Jaylen Brown. And it's not going to be any different. But if you want to say it makes you better, it makes you better. And then I'll do it. But not because he's unhappy. That should not enter your calculus. Final hour to go. Your reaction to what's happened with the Celtics so far and what might be coming tonight. You say Trey Murphy by the draft. The draft's in like 3 hours, 2 hours. When is it? When does this thing start?
8.
You can save your draft talk for someone else who gives two craps about that. I'll talk about NBA players all you want.
Well, the good news is that the NBA draft now is a 2-night event.
Oh, good. Yeah,
round 2 deserves its own night.
One night was never enough for me. Let me tell you that much. Here's Murray's 90-second update. No commercials, and we're right back.